Hello, everybody. The Army of Light Earth Division, the boots on the ground. It's Shawna L. Francis. Today is March 26th, 2024, and this is the weekly briefing. Thanks, everybody, for allowing me to take some time off to really mourn the loss of my dear cousin, my dear young cousin, who was such a special shining star on this planet. That was really hard. I'm doing much better. Thanks everybody for all your well wishes and your condolences and all your words of love, support, and encouragement. As always, you guys melt my heart. You're so amazing, and you teach me every day what it means to have unconditional love. So thank all of you for that. Thank you so much. Um, I'm going to call this the variety hour because I have so much to go through and it's kind of a hodgepodge of information. Excuse me. So just relax, everybody. Take some nice deep breaths here. I'm not sure how long this is going to go. I've got 6 Word documents queued up right now with channeling on them. We'll see if I make it through the end here. Maybe we'll save something for next week, but there's a lot to go through. It's been a couple of weeks. And then not only that, there was some things from 2 weeks ago that I missed that I wanted to talk to you about. So I'm pulling that up now. Excuse me for the frog in my throat here. Okay. How's everybody doing? Obviously, Melchizedek has a good pulse on what everybody's kind of going through, what the collective here, our constituents, our group is going through here. And I think I'm going to start today's weekly briefing walking you through what they had to say to you today. And then we're going to kind of work a little bit backwards. I'm going to talk about my cousin's passing and my experience with all of that and what Melchizedek had to say. I'm also going to walk through a channeling from Melchizedek that talks about where I'm at in my process, and I would love to share with everybody kind of what's been going on with me. I also, if we've got time at the end, I'm going to talk about this mission that I did with Sekhmet a few weeks ago. Really quite fascinating stuff. Before I get into today's channeling from Melchizedek, I just want to say that for me personally, I am really feeling a shift within myself. I feel like I'm really changing. I'm really kind of coming to understand this experience that I'm having with Melchizedek as kind of being an embodied channel. And I talked to Melchizedek about this, and I'll talk about the channeling later. It's like in the good old days, somebody may have described this experience as like the Spirit of God moving through me and awakening me up, almost like if I were born again or something like that. Like it is feeling like this incredible upswelling of love in my body. Like every cell of my body is vibrating to the frequency of love when I am sitting and working with Melchizedek anymore. What they're doing is acclimating my field to be able to hold as much high vibration pleasure, if you will, as possible. And again, this is truly where being a beacon comes into play. I am like the tuning fork here in embodiment, and they've really taken up residence in my body. I am feeling so very close to them, so much love from them. They're always here, my confidants, my mentors, my teachers, always on the ready to support me with whatever I have going on, and just feeling so nurtured and held by them. And it's truly changing me, team. I'm not the same person I was, I would say, even 3 months ago. And it's quite beautiful, and it gets me quite emotional actually to think about this. And really, I don't want to be crying because I want to keep my vibration as high as possible, but I am really feeling this, and I'm feeling this shift deeply. And I want to thank you again for being here on this journey with me, team. All right. From today, Obviously, we have a lot going on the planet. We knew that 2024 was going to be intense, and it is delivering. Remember, the reptilian regime, the negative reptilian regime, we have positive reptilians, everything in between. The negative reptilians who run the show around here are in a panic. We are waking up. We are taking a stand. We are talking about our truth. We are choosing other than what they're dishing out to us, and they don't like this. So they're doing whatever they can to shake things up here, keep us unstable, suffering, ungrounded, angry, worried, upset. Okay, team, this is happening. It's happening for all of us here. And here's what Melchizedek had to say to everybody today. We would like to get started here and talk first about what's going on with the media, where so many of you are getting wrapped up, consumed by, and distraught with the information that's being pumped out to the masses. Dear ones, just a friendly reminder that what you're seeing on your screen does not always reflect truth. We could be more explicit, but we hope that you understand our meaning here. And I'm just going to interject this. We're being lied to, manipulated. These are untruths, manipulation, half-truths, illusion, delusion, what have you. Okay. They're saying what you're seeing on your screen does not always reflect the truth. Okay. These are tough times, dear ones. We've talked about these times in the past, how to prepare and how to maneuver this time, how to take care of yourself, what you can be doing, and where to stay focused. We've explained that the negative reptilian regime does not have your best interest in mind with the actions that they take, with their ministrations and their manipulation. Please, dear friends, take our guidance to heart. You are in choice here, and you are so powerful beyond what you're able to comprehend in most instances. Put one foot in front of the other. Relax the mind chatter. Breathe deeply. Allow a smile to cross your lips. Put your hands on your heart and know yourselves as relieved that you do not have to participate at this lower level. You do not have to be party to the manipulation. Breathe a sigh of relief that you are in choice, and you get to choose in this moment where you're going to put your focus, how you're going to feel, what belief systems you have in play, and the actions that you're going to take. Okay, team, they're being so direct here. They're not mincing words. They are putting it out in plain language so that we all can get this. And they continue here. Knowing this is half the battle. The other half is taking action based on this knowing. We give you permission to just step away from the chaos. We give you permission to not stay wrapped up in the swirl of misinformation. We give you permission to feel peace, happiness, and even joy at all levels of your experience. Please do this, dear ones, unapologetically. Allow your light to shine. Be who you are in truth, who you know yourselves to be in truth. Say no to old paradigms, to what you've done in the past, or to what history might dictate you do. Today we're building a new earth together, and this requires change. A change in your mindset, a change in your belief systems, a change in how you know yourself in this world. This requires bravery, dear ones. It requires faith and trust, and it requires the ability to see beyond the perceived problems and challenges that may stop you cold in your tracks from shining your light to the best of your ability. Excuse me, I'll say that one more time. It requires faith and trust and the ability to see beyond the perceived problems and challenges that might stop you in your tracks from shining your light to the best of your ability. Please take solace knowing that you are never alone, that you are infinitely powerful and creative, and you are so loved. Even if you don't see the truth of who and what you are, even if you question your worthiness, even if you have a hard time trusting right now, know that we are able to be all these things for you. And our plan is to maintain this field, this knowing, until you are able to carry it for yourself. All right, guys, that was today from Melchizedek. I want to, along this same vein here, I want to circle back to a recording that I made on March 8th. So this has been a couple of weeks, 2 weeks ago. And this is, I had forgotten to mention this in the last video that I had created. Okay, I was just asking them, this just seems like there's so much craziness going on. I think the State of the Union had just happened with Biden. A lot of stuff going on with Trump. We've got Catherine, Princess of Wales, back a couple weeks ago. A lot of the conspiracy theories. I wasn't completely plugged into the narrative here, and I'm really stepping away from all of that. But I'm just like, team, this really seems so crazy right now. Is there anything we can tell the constituents about how to manage all this? They said, oh, dear one, yes, well, it's complicated. There are things percolating out there, and quite frankly, dear one, we're not able to say with much certainty exactly what will be happening and when. We're sorry about this. However, you can just imagine more destruction, more violence, more uprising, more deaths, and the absolute exploitation of these things in your media. What comes to mind here for me are is this massacre that just happened in Russia, at that concert hall. This is absolutely talking about this exact type of thing that's going on right now. They said here, some of these activities will seem so horrifying will be enacted, perpetrated for the sole purpose of exploiting it through media. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. And they said, yes, dear one, it's a horrible idea to understand that death and destruction, violence, to be carried out for the sole purpose of creating headlines and instilling fear, anger, and unrest with the masses. And I understand too, just reading a little bit about this concert hall massacre in Russia, that the Russian-owned media, they have all kinds of video out there about this. I haven't seen any of these videos, but I heard they cut off a guy's ear and they shoved it in his mouth, and just all kinds of horrific things going on. And of course, I'm sure a lot of what happened in that concert hall was filmed. So my understanding is this kind of thing is all over the place. I haven't seen it, but thank goodness. But I guess this is exactly what we're talking about, the exploitation of this. And they said here, dear one, it's serious what's going on here. The manipulation is going to be reaching the highest level it has ever been to. It'll be reaching a new pinnacle, dear one, and you may share this with your constituents. I said, thank you, team. Are the people who are going to be carrying out these violent acts and whatever this is going to be, this dense and negative stuff, I said, is it because of the negative reptilian influence, or is it just general unrest? I said, is it going to literally be directed by governments or by media agencies? I said, can you tell me a little bit more about that if my questions make sense? Excuse me, guys. They said, yes, dear one, imagine all of the above, Shawna. Always in the end, it is the negative reptilian influence that creates environments for such negative behavior. Let's just say the media will be on hand to record all the gory details as they have been in the past, but even more so. Shawna, we can't overstate that the negative reptilians are putting in extra effort, focus, and attention on controlling and manipulating the masses through media. This is the most effective and efficient way to reach the widest audience possible. This is why discernment is so important and why we continue to ask that your constituents not consume mass media. Okay. So that's where that ended. I mean, they've just very bluntly said, stop watching the news, stop watching TV, stop watching Netflix, quit binging, these movies and these series. Don't watch the sports programs, don't watch the commercials. It's the children's stuff, it's the adult stuff, it's all of it. Yeah, and I know so many of you have asked about the monarchy and Catherine, Princess of Wales, and really Melchizedek does not want to address this right now, and said not for this audience and not at this time. What we're being asked to do is to rise above this. I would say drop, getting into all the gory detail online and all the conspiracy theories, and really just spend your time sending her love, sending that whole family love. Truly, just as Queen Elizabeth talked about here last year, the time of the monarchy is coming to an end. This world has outgrown this institution. It's crumbling. The whole facade of it is crumbling. Regardless whether or not it's true, if she's got cancer or what's going on with her and William and Harry and all this, whatever that is, team, really try to rise above this and just be sending this whole group love. This is the whole thing coming down. And this is a good thing. This is an exciting time. We get to rebuild this thing from a place not being controlled by the negative reptilians, but from a place of unity and love. This is where we're headed. The monarchy represents everything that's wrong with these institutions that suppress and control and manipulate. Anyway, yeah, that reminds me, this is our 1-year anniversary of these weekly briefings. It was 1 year ago, 4 days ago, that I had my 44th channeling with Queen Elizabeth. And also, interestingly, the viewership of the Queen Elizabeth podcast, that series, is growing. There's a lot of folks every day who are watching those videos. So I'm thankful. Yeah. All right. So that's all I'll say about that. All right. Moving on. Okay, guys. So this was from March 9th, and I want to talk about my cousin a little bit and that whole experience. This could be the year where a lot of people are just wanting to exit the planet, and maybe they had planned to do that, maybe they hadn't. My beautiful cousin, her name was Christelle. Her name is Christelle, and she was she was such a ray of light, such a sweetheart, such a beauty. It would be her 31st birthday in 5 days. And as I mentioned before, she left behind 3 beautiful young children. This is going to be a blast from the past. I don't know if any of you who are watching this video today will remember this, but a few years ago, I went to a family reunion, and I talked about this on one of my videos. And my very young cousin, who was 7 years old at the time, I showed up to this family reunion, and I hadn't seen a lot of this family for a year. I see these guys once a year, possibly. So this beautiful little cousin looks at me, and he's like, "What's your name?" And I said, "Shawna." He's like, Shawna L. Francis. And I'm like, "Yeah, Shawna L. Francis." And he got starstruck. He's like, "My nanny and I, we watch you on TV. We watch you." Oh, this is when I was channeling the Galactic Federation of Light, actually, probably during the 100 days channeling. So if you guys remember my little cousin Warren, this is her oldest child, actually, Christelle's oldest child. So just to give you a little bit of context here. All right, so Christelle. So I'm in Mexico at the time on March 9th, and I was really quite distraught. She'd been kind of put into a coma. She was having liver failure, and they put her on life support and the whole bit. And we were just all praying. I had been sending her a ton of Reiki and pulling in our teams and our guides and our anybody who wanted to help, and just trying to really send her as much love and light as possible. And I felt like I was really connecting with her. Um, and Melchizedek this day got my attention and said, "We'd like to talk to you." I said, "Okay." They said here, "We'd like to talk about Christelle. She will be making her transition soon." They said, "We do think that it would be such a beautiful gesture for you to be there in angelic form. It'll be great practice for you, and it'll be heart opening, and it will also bring a tremendous amount of comfort to Christelle." They said here, "You have a very unique situation here, dear one, where you're able to be embodied in human form, and yet also be embodied in your angelic form," if that makes sense. So a wonderful opportunity, dear one, for you to shine and to be of service. And I had said, absolutely. I'd absolutely be delighted to support Christelle with her transition, as my angelic self in training. And I said, "Okay, soon." I said, "What do you mean by soon?" And they said, "Well, it's imminent, Shawna. We're keeping an eye on the situation. So if you're paying attention, and if you're busy, we will alert you to this." I said, "Okay, gosh." I'm like, "Well, could this be tonight?" And they said, "Well, we believe it could be, dear one." And I'm like, "Oh my goodness, oh my goodness, okay." I said, "I'll be ready to assist." Well, nothing happened that night. And in fact, the next day she started responding to questions. She was like nodding yes and no and kind of coming out of this coma. Um, Another day passed and another day passed. They took out the breathing tube. And I thought, gosh, maybe she's going to pull through this. Like, she was sitting up, and she had not been eating. They had a feeding tube in her stomach. But I thought, oh my gosh, maybe Melchizedek was wrong. Um, and she's going to be okay. And I was asking, like, what do you think? What do you think? They're like, well, it's free will in action. She's still deciding. I'm like, okay. And then last Tuesday here on the 19th, she actually did pass, and it was about 5:30 in the morning, and I was sleeping. So I didn't actually get an opportunity to assist her to the other side. But man, I was having a hard time. I woke up to a text saying that she had passed in the night, early that morning. So when I got up, I checked in with Melchizedek. I'm like, oh my gosh, is there anything I can do? Is there anything I can do to help her? And they said she's doing wonderful. And they showed me they gave me a visual. And what I saw was Christelle on a bed with my dad on one side of the bed, and her mother, who has also passed, my Aunt Gail, my brother's sister, on the other side of her bed. And this bed is floating through like space, and all these gold angels are, and I'm up way up high, and they're way down low, and all these layers of angels, and it's all this progression, this procession of angels with Christelle, my dad, and my dad's sister, my aunt, on each side of her, kind of going wherever they're going, making this transition. And on the 19th, here's what Melchizedek had to say about this. And I was trying to figure out if I was going to try to make a video. It was like 8:30 at night, and I'm like, I was trying to rally to make the video last week, and I couldn't do it. So Melchizedek came in, and I said, "I'm just so distraught right now, and I'm just really having a hard time with this." And they said, "We're so sorry about your loss. We understand this as a travesty as you do, dear one. And we also know what life and death are all about. Even still, it is hard. It's really nice to hear that from Melchizedek, because I know, like, a lot of times our guides from the other side, whether that be an archangel or the GFL or what have you, it's like, well, there's no such thing as death, and this all continues. But it's hard. It's hard when a loved one passes. They're great. They're doing wonderfully, most likely. They're having a beautiful experience, and it's just everybody who's left behind. That it's so hard for. So it was. They really just they confirmed that here. I said, it's just been such a weird process of grieving. I feel like I've just been all over the place. And they said, yes, dear one, it is to be expected. They said, in terms of the video, we don't think that you should make one tonight. Let's wait until you're feeling better and more centered and grounded. Let's spend a good amount of time tomorrow in meditation and working with your field, dear one. We understand that you have a dental appointment in the morning. Let's spend as much of the rest of the day together as possible. Yeah, the day after, last Tuesday after Christelle's death, I had a root canal the next morning. I had to have a root canal done. And not only that, I had restoration people over and plumbers. My kitchen sink's not working. I've got all this dry rot underneath my kitchen sink, my floor. I mean, it's been a week, I will tell you that. It's still not working. I still don't know how I'm going to get this done. All right. They said, so let's just spend some time together. And I said, that's beautiful. Okay. I talk a little bit more about Christelle here. I just got an update. See if this is the next one here. Yeah. So March 20th, I'd sat down with Melchizedek, where again, this love it enters it's really, I don't even want to call this meditation anymore. What I'm doing for hours and hours a day, as often as I'm able to, is we are working on our field, and this is working with all of our field at this point. So I am allowing this beautiful vibration, this love to build up in my body. They actually did what they called a brain cleanse on me here a couple weeks ago. That was like a defragmenting of a computer or something. I couldn't believe what that was like. I mean, I'm really feeling like I'm being changed from the inside out. It's really quite beautiful. It's something else. All right. By the way, the root canal went perfectly. I had absolutely no pain after it was done, like none. All right, so I was sat down and I knew they wanted to talk, and they brought me into this place energetically where I was almost just whispering all of this, and also trying to get through this passing of my cousin, and just dealing with everything and just trying to get centered. I said, okay, team, what would you like to talk about? And I entered that field with them, and they said, do you feel us, dear one? And I said, oh yeah, I feel you. They said, please hang on to this feeling as we speak with you. So here's another thing we've been trying to do. They want me to try to be going about my day in a high vibration, and I'm having to just really consciously think about it. And I'll say high vibration, and that kind of cues them to help me get to that place. So a lot of times I'm busy, I'm driving, I'm doing dishes, I'm making something to eat, whatever. I'm talking with somebody on the phone, I'm texting, what have you. So I don't think about it, but as often as I can, I'm thinking about having a high vibration, and I say it out loud, high vibration. Take some deep breaths, close my eyes, and I feel this rising. I feel it coming in. I'm working on this. I'm just barely getting the hang of it. They said, Shawna, this is bringing forth words, but more importantly, energetic frequency. This is what it means to be embodied with our soul aspects. So close, so tightly integrated within your field, dear one, as to almost be inseparable. We do want to say you always have free will, and you can kick us out if you desire. This is not a takeover. This is a partnership, and it is so powerful. Excuse me. Shawna, as we imbue these words with galactic high-dimensional frequencies, your body, your physical vessel, radiates this field. As we've said many times before, it's not so much the words that we impart, it is the frequency. It is the love. It is this everlasting, omnipresent presence. As we continue our journey with you, this everlasting journey, we will turn to this frequency, this means by which our connection is broadcast as we commune together. Dear one, the energies will continue to grow in intensity and bloom in love, almost to the point of rapture. And you will have the ability to both carry and transmit that level of frequency. Every day that we are able to be with you, Shawna, work with your field, we get closer and closer to that pinnacle. Where we need to take you, Shawna, no human has gone before. This will not bring you fame and fortune and notoriety. It will not make you any better than anybody else here. But what this will do is provide a stepping stone, a tangible platform for the birth of the new humanity. A birth for the new humanity. Archangel Metatron 5.5 years ago talked about this. I would get these energy blasts that would just leave me breathless. I mean, just talk about rapture. Like they were really getting my attention and making sure I was staying on point with them and not just dismissing all this as ridiculous craziness in my mind or something. It's one thing to hear voices in your head. It's a whole nother thing where your body's been taken over by this beautiful, loving presence to where you are breathless and out of your mind. Like, I can't make that stuff up. And Metatron back in the day said, Shawna, I'd be like, ooh, I want that feeling all the time. They're like, Shawna, you're going to have it in spades. It's a big part of your mission to be at this level all the time. You're going to be at this frequency all the time. So, I'm getting there, where every day I work with them, every day we all work together. Our field raises here. We are transmitting this frequency like a beacon. We're a homing device here, whatever you want to call that. So exciting. And they said, Shawna, do you have any questions for us? And I'm like, I'm just blown away by this opportunity and by your guidance and your love. I'm so grateful. I just said, I can't believe I get to live this life. I can't believe I get to do this. I can't. Like I would have never have imagined this for myself. So I'm so honored to be working with this team like this. I said, what can I do? Can we talk about in the short term, what I can do to help with this process? And then in the long term too, if you can answer that. I said, I'm just thrilled. They said, wonderful, dear one. Yes. In more of the near term, as much time as you can spend with us, dear one, the better. Quiet, rested, peaceful communion with our field, with our shared field, allowing the frequencies to open your heart and clear your mind and raise your consciousness, thereby helping you to also be more of a divine channel for these higher frequencies. We ask that you start to incorporate exercise back into your routine. I hadn't been exercising in Mexico. I was meditating so much. They're like, you can exercise later. We need to be working with your field right now. And since I've been back, I don't even know. It'll have been 2 weeks tomorrow. So much has gone on in the last 2 weeks since the last video I made for you guys. It's been outrageous. But anyway, so I've tried to make it to the gym today and the power went off 10 minutes into my on the treadmill. The power went off in the whole place and we had to leave. I tried. They said plenty of sleep, as little busyness and stress as possible, clean food, fresh plant-based diet, lots of water, less time on social media. Basically, dear one, continue to join us more fully, become even more integrated with your consciousness. If we could, please ask that you consider this to be a 24/7 full-time partnership, Shawna. This is ideal. Continue to sleep and rest in the halls of Amenti each night as we continue to work with your field even during your sleep. Make room for pleasure and fun and being around people that you love. Yeah, and I'm doing that. I'm doing that. Oh, I am. I'm telling you, like these relationships that I have just only gotten deeper, only gotten more beautiful and loving. And I've met new people where I'm just able to freely talk about who I am and what I do and have that be accepted and embraced and respected. And I mean, it's beautiful. I'm just, yeah, life's good right now. And I said, it sounds like we'll be doing more missions together. I said, is that still the plan? They said, yes, there will be more missions in the short term and in the long term as you're able and ready to complete those missions. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Sekhmet too here when we're done with this. And then I asked, would it be helpful if I started to compile the manuscript from the book that we started channeling last year? I haven't channeled for the book in eons. I think we've had to be really nimble with the Galactic Federation of Light war that went on and what's happening with the Negative Reptilians here in a panic and putting all this effort out to help keep the vibration low. I think we've done some zigging and zagging here to help counterbalance all that, which I'm fine with. But should I start compiling this so we can reacquaint ourselves with the content? And they said that would be very helpful and appreciated. I said, great. I said, can you see how Christelle is doing? And they said, she's changing form, dear one, releasing the identification with the body and acclimating back into divine consciousness. She is resting and she is fully surrounded, loved and supported, and all is well. I'm grateful for that. My uncle has asked me to come to their town early and help him plan all this. So I'm going to call him tomorrow, get the vision for the celebration of life. And I just went through this with my dad. I managed most of that. It was a group effort for sure, but I'm going to assist him with this, and we're going to have a beautiful service for her that's really going to honor the light that she was here on the planet. I'm looking forward to it, honestly. All right. Last set of channeling. It's really not so much, there's a little bit of channeling here, but I want to just talk a little bit about what happened here with Sekhmet. And this has been March 7th, so it's been a while. I won't go into too much detail here, but I know I was meditating and in a beautiful state, and excuse me, I start seeing an Egyptian looking woman, the Egyptian motif, the dark hair, the makeup, the clothing, the jewelry, the staff, the ankh, all this stuff. I start seeing this, and I start seeing a pyramid, and I start hearing like stone scraping against stone, and I'm really understanding like, okay, this is definitely like an ancient Egypt type feel to it. And I'm just like kind of watching this female figure. And it feels like we're now like maybe inside of a structure of some kind. I'm not sure if we're in a pyramid or what it is, but I'm seeing her, and she is speaking what seems to be a light language. It seems to be light language. Her arms are moving, and there are people gathered around her in the shadows. I hear the word Sekhmet, and I really don't know anything about her. Quite frankly, I have not had time to do a lot of research on Sekhmet, but I've done a lot of work with Egypt and ancient Egypt. So I'm so excited about this because it had been a while. So I end up coming together with her in like this circle. My wings pop out. She's got a staff. Her face turns into a lion's face, or a lioness, if you will. This huge ball of light comes down from above, and we are just in this ball of light, and we just blast this thing out horizontally to the earth. This had my energy just going absolutely nuts. I couldn't believe what this was like. This was about a half-hour mission, so I'm going to just give kind of the highlights. So again, a lot of times when I'm working with Melchizedek in meditation or as we're working in our fields, I will hit this state of vibration or this state of consciousness and my wings, pop out. And I know this is like metaphorical, but like I feel the shift in my field when I am kind of entering more into that space. I'm an angel in training if you missed that part of my background. So we're kind of like back to back blasting this white light out. And my eyes are probably rolled back in my head. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to tell the team, you guys, about working with Sekhmet. And I hear Melchizedek in the background going, ego, Shawna, ego. I'm like, oh, and that snapped me right back. I'm like, oh yes, of course. And I had said to Sekhmet, I'm like, I'm so honored to be working with you. Like, thank you so much. This was amazing. And she said, we'll be doing more work together. And I could actually hear her voice. It wasn't just kind of a feeling. It was like more of a channeling going on. I just got very, very excited about this. So I cannot wait to work with her some more. It ends up, we took this energy and we ended up putting extra energy right into the Nile River. I mean, I'm sure that this is some kind of an artery, obviously it's a huge part of that continent and probably a huge part energetically of what's going on here on the planet. So we put that energy right into the Nile River. And then at one point I asked Melchizedek, I'm like, am I making this up? Is this my imagination? And they're like, is this ever your imagination? I'm like, no, you're doing this work. I'm like, okay, cool. So after that was all done, I'm like, Melchizedek, can we talk about this? I said, what was that all about? And they said, Shawna, yes, we'd love to comment. First of all, dear one, stellar job, fantastic, just beautiful work, Shawna. We couldn't be more proud of you, dear one, and thank you. Yes, we mentioned your ego, but it's such a small thing, just a very minor course correction. You have every reason to be excited about this work and to know it as your truth and to know it as real and to know it as impactful. Yes, this was Sekhmet. She has been waiting for you to bring your field up to this point where she's able to interact with you. You two will be a powerhouse and we'll be doing much more work together, and we will always be here, Shawna. We will be holding space and helping you to amplify and build this protected container for the two of you to do your work together. It's going to feel very natural and very fulfilling and vivid, they said. They said, dear one, it is definitely going to take your mission to the next level here as you sit in embodiment, working on behalf of the light. Okay, Nile River. So there you go. They said, Shawna, never doubt the work that you do is powerful. It's so powerful. Never doubt this, Shawna. It's meaningful and it's impactful. All right. So that's it for all the channeling. Thanks, guys, for being here. This has been a long one. There's a lot to catch up with. I've missed you. Don't forget to unplug from the media. Oh, and I want to say thank you to everybody who ordered stuff from the Army of Light store, armyoflight.store. There were 7 or 8 of you that put in orders, and I hope you got your merchandise and you love it. If you did, put it in the comments. Let everybody know what you got and if you liked it. And if you didn't like it, please shoot me an email and let me know what's wrong and we can try to fix it. Okay, guys. I think that's it for now. I feel like there's so much more, but you've got this. We're doing great. Reach out to me if you need support. I'm still doing one-on-one sessions as I am able to, less than before, but I'm still making room for this. I'm here to support you, team. I love you so much.